Heterosexuality is under attack. That's right, I said it. That's what tonight's topic is about. You got men wearing tight jeans, men wearing bags.
Tight
you got
shirts.
homosexuality on daytime and nighttime television. You got cartoon characters getting married. You got a lot of things going on out here. The Me Too movement, we're going to get into it tonight. I'm Kyrie Terrell. I'm joined by some phenomenal people. Ladies first, we got the executive producer of TwoOneLIVE on the couch. You believe this?
I can't believe it myself.
It's Miss Ebony Dukes herself.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm Ebony Dukes. I am usually on the other side of the camera.
Not tonight.
Not tonight. I'm here with you guys to talk about this subject. We're going to get into it.
This is going to be a good one. It's going to be good. Next to Ed, we got my man Ivan Taki. Taki, tell the folks who you are, what you do.
Name's Ivan Taki. Philly born and raised artist, muralist, painter, whatever you name it. I'm here to do it. Let's go.
And very outspoken. That's why we chose to bring him on. Then we got my man, Brad Cook, Brad Baker, whichever you going by these days. I don't know.
I'm Brad Cook to my friends and family, but Brad Baker.
There we go. Tell the people what you do. Who you is,
playwright, author, producer. I do it all.
There it is. There it is. So we're going to get right into it, man. There's a term that's been floating around in internet land, TV land, social media, etc. It's called toxic masculinity. Anybody want to take a dive at maybe defining what toxic masculinity is?
Let y'all try first.
You gonna let us try first? I got the card, so I ain't gonna cheat.
I mean, I just think it's the masculine things that we do on a daily that we think that men are supposed to do are under attack, and they kind of spin it to make it more worse than what it is. You know, I was growing up, I was raised that men take out the trash, men stand up and fight for the women, when men do alpha male things, and it's under attack for us being able to celebrate, to be able to do the things that we call masculine to ourselves. So
I like that, the alpha male term you bring up. Yeah. That for me, when I hear toxic masculinity, I think alpha male, me personally. Yeah. Taki, you want to take a stab at that? What's toxic masculinity?
Like I said, the word toxic, I feel like this past year has been used so much, and I mean, it's gotten to the point
2019
where,
buzzword.
Yeah, the word toxic. So like, I mean, I don't know if they just used that word because it was like trendy at the time, but you know, the word toxic and masculinity is like, you know, what are you really trying to say? Is that we shouldn't be proud to be masculine, do masculine things, and even still with the term masculine things, are they trying to get rid of that? Because that's what it seems like it is to me. You know, there's things like if a burglar comes into my house, you know, me and my wife and the children are there, I'd expect her to just keep the children calm, and I'm going to address the threat in the home. And if that's being masculine or toxic masculinity, I don't think my wife would have a problem with me saying I'm gonna go whoop someone's ass downstairs. Right. You know what I mean? So,
and hold it, because before you go, Eb, that's a great point, because one of the things that was raised in one of our production meetings was do you train your male child in a dominant, physical, aggressive manner, or what have you, right? And Taki raises an interesting point, because if you weren't raised that way, right, you might want to cower in the corner with your wife in that, you know what I mean? Because you ain't hardened. I believe a male should be hardened. That's my personal belief.
But that's toxic masculinity by definition.
Okay, well, go ahead. Talk about it.
So toxic masculinity is, in my interpretation, it is when you project your masculinity onto others. So if you are projecting your masculinity onto others to the point that it is offending them or making them uncomfortable, then that is what is supposed to be considered toxic masculinity.
I'm glad you said that, because what's crazy is homosexuality is everywhere. That's forced upon a lot of people, right? But I've never, and we're not allowed to not like it or disagree with it, right? But I've never heard the term toxic homosexuality.
No.
I've never heard that. But in your definition, that's what's going on out here. The flip side is true.
No, it's when you have a son, and you've now decided that your son has to have these very, very strong characteristics of a man. We get that. Most men, that's what you want from your boys. But what if you have a son that is similar to your son, Cat Cat? Cat Cat loves to act, dance, do things that may not necessarily be considered traditional male things to do. But if you tell him, no, you got to play football, you got to play basketball, and you got to do all these things, to some people that can be considered toxic.
But see, you just did it again. Because in your argument, you just labeled football and basketball as masculine. But we live in a climate now where a woman has to be allowed to play football and basketball.
Absolutely.
Right? So, and to your point, Cat Cat's a thespian.
He is.
Right?
An
That's
amazing one.
That's
An
my boy. I
amazing
love
one.
him to death. But as far as the traits of a man, I still teach him those things. Right? And as his parent, I feel as though I'm allowed to be. Like right now, we're going through, you ain't gonna be no damn chatty patty. Right? He got the homies in the school and the girlfriends in the school and his things going on, and he mixed up in it, and I'm kiboshing that. I'm not allowing my son.
But the term chatty patty is what some people would consider you saying being toxic.
Okay.
That's part of the toxic masculinity, because you associate being chatty and gossiping and sitting there talking as a girl thing.
The same way you just
I feel like we'll
associated
go
football
on.
and
Right,
basketball
but
as a male
we
thing.
could go
I'm
on
not
all
saying-
night. Listen,
I'm
we
not
could
saying
go.
either is right or
you're
wrong.
Listen, we can go on all night. We would have to rewrite history
Yep.
and rewrite the
Absolutely.
training of how we were thought, because we are 80s babies. I mean, anybody 70s, I'm not sure, but we are 80s babies right here. And us being 80s babies, there was just some things that's embedded in our DNA that we just can't rearrange, because the world's telling us right now, like, hey, you can't say that's a boy, you can't say that's a girl, you can't say this is straight, this is gay, this is. You have to just say this is just life. And it's like, what? I wasn't raised like that. I was raised in kindergarten knowing that boys like blue, girls like pink. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Girls wear skirts, boys wear pants. You know what I'm saying? You know, and it's like when you're raised that way, and you're not only being raised that way in your household, but from television, from newspapers, from anything that you've seen, from the teachers that you had, that's a part of embedded into your system. There's no way you can rearrange
It's
it.
in
Like,
your DNA.
I mean, there was a point in our time where we used to be like, man, stop acting like a faggot. It was a regular thing to say. And now you can't use the word faggot. I mean, I've seen, there's people in your crew right now, I use the word faggot, and their eyes are going, holy shit, you're going to have to kick that out. But if I say nigga, bitch, and cocksucker, whatever right now, it wouldn't be that big of a deal.
Right.
I'm sorry for cursing everybody, but I'm just trying to prove a point right now.
I totally understand
the
your
point
point.
is,
A derogatory term is a derogatory term.
Absolutely.
And I mean, may as well go there. Dave Chappelle just famously said, you know, he was told don't use faggot in his comedy, right? But he used nigger all the time.
Right. Nigga got 2 G's just like faggot got 2 G's, and it probably got the same amount of letters. But that word is so much more powerful that you can't even use it in a song now. And you don't know how rap songs, they say, my nigga did this, my nigga did that. And it's a cool song, and everybody's singing. You even got white people in the club singing it, and you be like, well, this in the song ain't a big of a deal. You know what I'm saying? But what one person used the word faggot one time, or even fix his mouth to put the everybody in the whole song, everything gonna stop and go, whoa, whoa,
You
whoa.
will lose it all. You will lose it all.
And it's important. It's important to note, especially for our viewers, and I know that's why Ebony is sighing, right? Listen, we don't have a problem with nobody, but this is one of those topics where we have to talk about it. We just talking about it, all right? I'm a lover of all people, but I do believe that heterosexuality should have its own rights and is under attack. So that's where some of this is coming from. So if we offend you, we apologize, but we're having an open conversation.
I'm not apologizing.
This is
all
one
I'm
of
saying,
serious
is I used to use that word on a regular. My parents used that word. My sister used that word growing up. I'm not apologizing because I used to use the word. I learned to not say that word because it's offensive to people. Whereas when I was saying it, it was being said as don't be soft or don't be acting like a female when you're a male and stuff like that. And growing up, I'm just telling y'all, growing up, this is how it was taught to us. That's just like if a kid sits here and he says, listen, I learned not to use the word nigga. If a white kid sits here and says, I learned not to use the word nigga, but my parents raised me that these were the black people, we call them niggas, and now we can't say it because it's offensive. If a white kid sat here and said that, I'm not gonna be mad at him because that's how he was raised and that's how he was taught. You can't unteach something that a child was taught. You know what I'm saying?
So back to the point about, see, my whole thing is, when did masculinity become so offensive to people? You know what I mean? In general, within itself, I don't see why certain things and certain values that we was instilled when we was kids. We like the masculinity. We supposed to provide. We supposed to protect.
The abuse of it has. The abuse of
it's
it
so
has.
abusive.
And I don't know
it's so
that it's
abusive.
necessarily
does it
just
even get to be
masculinity.
Yeah, but it's
as
one of
much
them.
as it is black masculinity.
Well, that too. Well, that's a whole other topic. But toxic masculinity in itself is still under attack, just based off of the simple principles that we can't teach our sons the certain values that we want. Because I don't want you to pick up a Barbie, or I don't want you to play house. You know what I mean? I want you to do, man. I do it all the time with my son. It's certain things. Yo, men don't do that. You can't do that.
I feel like when there were situations that brought to the table of a bad thing that happened or something like that, that one bad apple spoiled the whole bunch. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Where a kid got beat up because he was gay and got rolled on,
Right.
and he lost his life or something like that. I would never wish death upon any human being.
Agreed.
Whether he were gay, straight, bisexual, whatever, that just doesn't feel good to be beat up because of something you chose to do. You know what I'm saying? Just because I choose not to be gay, I have nothing to do with two guys who choose to be in love with each other. They found love in whatever ways that they find love. That's on them. And I'm happy for them because they're happy. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say they deserve to get their ass whooped when we leave the bar because they're homosexuals. That's not my problem or my issue.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with nothing. I think the point being, and what we're talking about to re-rail this conversation is that is allowed to be celebrated in our world, right? When I say that, you're allowed to love who you want to love. There's community for that.
Right.
There's laws now for that. All of those types of things. It's allowed to be amplified till the cows come home, right? We live in that society now, but somewhere along the lines, a cap seems to have been put on celebrating your masculinity, or even what's the word I'm looking for? Amplifying your masculinity, right? And teaching it.
But that happens whenever there's a majority. Like there's caps on celebrating your whiteness. Like there's caps on anytime there's a majority, there's going to be some kind of cap or ceiling to you going, they can't have a white pride parade today.
But the problem with that is that I don't think that that's a cap so much as you're already winning, so to speak.
That's how they feel about your masculinity.
But
they feel like you guys have already
point, though,
won.
Josh.
She do got a point, but on the flip side of that, when you say that's what happens when you're a majority, there's no rights, there's no heterosexual rights. Like, for example, if
You had the right before them to get married. You had the right to claim your spouse on your to get insurance and taxes. You had a lot of rights as a heterosexual before the LGBTQ community.
But to your point, that the heterosexual community is the majority.
Yes.
So what I mean is this: when you take a community, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but the LGBTQ community is a minority in America, right? There's not as many people in that community as there are heterosexual, right? But I'm a straight man. Right? If I have a fight with Brad, right, and I win that fight, whatever, Brad wants to take me to court for assault, right? That's where it stops. As soon as it's found that Brad is gay, sorry to use you that way.
Okay, I got you.
But
We good.
as soon as it's a gay man that I'm having this fight
Toxic
with,
masculinity.
right? Now, no, it's not
It's a hate
toxic.
crime. It becomes a hate
It's
crime.
a hate crime.
No, I'm
speaking
talking
of
about
fact.
what you did to Brad. Like,
Yeah,
sorry,
because
Brad. Like,
he's
it was
not-
a bad
because
thing.
he's not that thing.
No,
It's
he
not
knows
that
that.
it's bad.
He
But
knows
that's
Brad
how
is
he's
not
not
gay.
that
But that's
thing.
how it could be perceived by others.
But it shouldn't be perceived if he's not that thing. I owe him an apology. That's just common courtesy.
Because
It's
because his
toxic
camera's
masculinity.
rolling right now, he just wanted to make it clear that
I
he,
get
that
it.
Right.
he separates.
I mean,
he
I
sees Brad.
understand.
Even
I
if
know what
say-
you're
even
doing.
if I say,
I
yo,
get it.
even if
I
I
get
say,
it.
yo,
I know why you
because
did it. I'm
because
just
he
talking for the
Muslim,
people who
and he
can't
say,
talk for
no,
themselves.
I'm not Muslim. I just got this beard. I'm sorry, right? It's the
Right.
same thing.
I
So
get
it's
it.
not an automatic perception or attack on gays when those things are done. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the problem with the world that we live
if you've
in.
been continuously marginalized, you're going to be defensive.
But that doesn't make it right.
I'm not saying it makes it
I
right,
just
but
don't think
that's
it's right
what
because
that's what happens.
everything
If
else
somebody is constantly talking about you or talking about your gender, your race, your sexuality, whatever it is, if you're constantly feeling like you're under attack, it's going to be very hard for you not to be defensive.
But
That's
it's the same thing as, see, my only problem is like Taki said earlier, toxic is is being used so loosely that
I agree.
no other group is being categorized outside of masculinity. We said earlier, no toxic femininity, no toxic homophobia. You know what I mean? Whatever the case may be, it's all being, and everybody else. Women, gays, LGBT, they're allowed to be bold, be proud, be in present, to be this great woman, be in your essence, to be, you know what I mean, proud of being who you are and who you get. And the moment that an alpha male says, yo, I'm proud to be a man, a straight man, a heterosexual man that wants to, you know, provide and protect and do all that stuff.
Before. So if a group of white guys came here and said, hey man, we're proud to be white, man. I love being white. I love my privileges. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I love my hair. I want to
Everything's
have a march
so easy for me. I love it.
It's like, you know, I feel like a lot of black people, Spanish people, you know what I'm saying?
We would all be upset.
Like,
but that's,
we'd all be up and on.
I don't think that.
Well, because that's deep.
It's not comparable.
It's not comparable.
It's not comparable because slavery in this country, oppression in this country,
totally different.
And the same thing happens for their community.
And the same thing with them, they're gonna say this.
But that's not.
Let me finish.
Go
Before you
ahead,
cut me off. Sorry. Let me finish. So the same way a female can say, men have been getting the jobs before us. We had to stay home and be moms, where I was qualified for that job just as much as you did. I might have passed the test better than you, but I can't get that job because I have a period.
Exactly.
I probably can't go to war because I have a period, or because I have babies, or I'm pregnant. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So women will still have that same fight and argument that that white people could have with the black situation. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And is they like, nah, because this, because that, everybody's gonna have some type of thing. I feel like the people that's always making excuses are the people that's never been in the other shoes of the other person. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like white
That's
people
the
can never
point.
really understand the plight of being a black man, because they'll never ever really see it unless they actually lived it. You know, if you never burnt your hand before, and I'm a burn victim, I'm like, yo, that shit hurt, bro. You like, yeah, I can imagine. You really don't fucking know what it feels like unless you was burnt like me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So how much more can you really imagine what it feels like to be a burn victim? And I'm only using metaphors because it seems like we keep having this debate about something that we're not really breaking the ice on.
No, and I feel you. The place I was going to go when you, the thing I hate about this conversation is it is not an attack on the LGBTQ community. No. It is not. Like, and I think that is where we get all convoluted and we start comparing it to racism, and we start to say, well, these people were oppressed because of what we're not talking about that community, right? What we're talking about is we're saying the labels that are placed on a man for doing some of the things that he innately feels like doing. A perfect example is oogling a female, looking at a woman's anatomy with sexual intentions in mind. That is programmed within the sexuality of a man.
No, that's programmed in you. Because some men may not want to do that. You know what I'm saying? That's programmed in you. Yeah. It's also programmed in me. I'm not isolating you out the situation because I feel the same way. You know, I feel like I'm the way I am because that was programmed in me from TV, from movies, from watching my dad and my uncles and my brothers and my friends. You know what I'm saying? That's programmed in me for me to act this way. Now, where we're at now in the world is women are saying, we don't like that. You have to stop doing that. But we want support from the government to help y'all stop doing that, because in some situations, a guy Googling and oogling a woman and stuff like that, she might have been fouled to a car, she might have been raped. So they used that one terrible situation of a guy who was oogling and Googling a female and said, this is the reason why we don't want this to happen. And they put that on the foreground and they show the government, this is what we want. And then the government says, okay, we don't want to keep hearing about this. We don't want more women getting raped and stuff because of this one situation. You know what I'm saying? It's easier for them to use that.
Here's
you know
the point to come off of that, right? Just like you said, oh no, that's programmed in you, right? Whether we talking straight or gay, there was a time in your adolescence where just the look of whether you're gay, another man or another woman, or if you're straight, another man or another woman, enticed you sexually, right? Now we live in a world where we're saying, forget what's humanly innate to you, right? Because in your scenario, right, I would be crazy to sit up here and say, oh no, young gay men, another man may have been raped, so you're not allowed to look at that man in a sexual manner. I would sound crazy if I said something like that. But once again, within the topic we're talking about, heterosexuality being under attack, that's an innate thing. Like, I can remember being in 8th grade and discovering that I'm interested in the female form. What am I supposed to do with that? I've never been any type of predator. I would never harm a woman in any type of way. I would never do anything against anybody's will.
Listen, Kyle, I agree with you.
I know,
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is the expression of that, like you just said, the expression of that, once it's like, oh, an incident happened, I don't got nothing to do with none of these incidents. What am I to do with the energy that I have as a heterosexual male and not have that automatically be assumed to be toxic?
So question, because I already know the answer to it, but I want the audience to know.
So
Have you
talk to
ever been in a situation where you felt like a piece of meat?
Yes.
I know you have.
Did you love
Did
it?
you yes. love it? No, he didn't.
First of all,
He didn't.
number one, it depends on
who
the
it was.
situation.
It
But no,
depended on who it
because
was.
I'm gonna take it a step further. It depends, because I've been in both cases. You know, I used to model and all of that. It depends if it's from the treatment of a woman or a man. That's what it depends on.
Not always.
Yes,
'Cause,
always.
No, I'm not gonna bring up names or nothing, but I remember you being in a situation where you were being treated like a piece of meat, but by women you were not attracted to.
We've been there.
Oh,
Brad been there.
that was
Listen.
different. I know
Brad
what
been
you're
there.
talking about.
Kyrie been there. I've been there.
Listen,
But as
but
men,
you didn't
listen.
like it.
We
You
can't
didn't
say
like
this
it.
one on camera,
You
but
didn't like
that
it.
was different.
But you didn't like it.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
the point being that you didn't like it.
But that
so
was-
if you don't like it, as a female, if there's something that somebody that I'm not interested in, and they're sitting there treating me like a piece of meat, I have the right to be offended by it.
I totally
It
agree.
happens to us too, Eb. Don't think that we nice looking guys don't get hit on by women we ain't really interested in.
But
you know what
it
though?
doesn't move us the way it moves
Yeah, I
a
know.
woman,
But I'm just
though. It
saying.
does.
Listen, women think just because we males, us three can definitely relate to this topic right here. Just because we males and the female got a vagina and she's pretty, she says, let's go back to my place. And if you say no, the first thing out their mouth is, what, you gay or something? You know what I'm saying? You're like, no, sis, I'm just not attracted to you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, y'all, he like men. This boy here like, man, I
Yeah,
try to get some
that's
pussy,
it.
he ain't wanting to. You're like, no, I just really don't
I
like
just
you.
didn't like
Your
you.
breath stink and you got, you know.
And
You
to
ain't
my
really
point,
you
she's
know what
talking
I'm
about
saying?
a sexual favor that was requested of me, and I was cool. I'm like, no, that's
Kyle,
not my interest.
I'm your boy. Me and Brad had been in that same situation, and we are allowed to say, no, sis,
They got
we
a
good.
they got a skit on Saturday Night Live. Tom Brady did it, right? Sexual harassment joint. A guy come in nerdy, go in there, he see the girl, and she like he go to talk to her, she picks up the phone real quick, call HR. Tom Brady come in with a tie on and Speedos on, walks up to her, do the same thing. Not only that, he doubled down on it. He squeezed her boob and was like, "How about lunch later?" She's like, "Sure." And
Right.
then he come up later on like, "Hey, can
So
I buy you
that's
lunch?"
the-
It was like, and it's all
Right.
Right.
That's the double
It's
standards,
about-
though. That's
Right.
the
It's
double
about
standards.
who I-
If it's a
who I
guy
want the
that you
attention
like,
from. Yeah,
I'm
it's
gonna tell you right
about
now.
who I
This is
want
why.
the
This is
attention
not. I know we're gonna talk about the Me Too
Yeah,
stuff, right?
we jumping ahead. We might as well go there. Go
Okay,
ahead.
so look, with the Me Too situation, I pray to God I never become like
Rick?
more known or famous than I am because
it's
Super
likely.
all
It's
that-
a
No,
likely
you
chance,
deserve
bro.
all of
You
your
do.
success.
You do. You
Let
shouldn't
me
be
finish.
scared.
Let me finish what I'm gonna say.
From that.
Because all the allegations I'm gonna tell you live on TV right now, and motherfucking true. Yo, all the allegations that they like, look, I know Ivan when he was back in true. When Ivan one time he saw me, he grabbed my true. You know what I'm saying? So if I ever get there,
You're gonna need that
gonna need that
I'm gonna need your insurance guy. But the crazy part about that is, it's just like because I'm who I am, or I look nice, or I'm well kept, or I'm popular, or they kind of like me a little bit. It's just certain things that a nicer looking guy can get away with that if you were ugly or creepy or smelly.
Right.
That if you did a fifth or 5% of that, you'd be in trouble. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I've had jobs where I was like, the person was like, yo, dog, you know you could get arrested for that. And I'm like, she cool, da da da. And nothing happened.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I know people that's hugged the person the wrong way or constantly ask them, hey, you never want to go out to dinner with me. What's up? That's sexual harassment.
Right.
You know what I'm
It
saying?
is.
It's like
It is.
now men can't even be men. And women say, oh, I don't want no soft guy. I want a man that's aggressive and know what he wants.
Spin you in a circle.
So it's just like, sis, I mean, I'm about to ask you out, but if you're going to make this be a thing, I don't want to get in trouble. Now it makes us scared to be men for the woman who says they want a man to say, yo, look, sis, look, I've been checking you out, Eb. You know what I'm saying? The way you've been wearing them braids. You know what I mean? And the way you've been smiling all crazy and stuff. Look, she getting all wet.
And listen, hold on. But let's go back before we go into Me Too, right? Like, I'm the type of individual.
Hey, Amir.
I'm the type of
That was just a reenactment for the show, bro. Me and friends.
Little stunt. But listen, real talk though. What you just acted out, right? If she finds you attractive, that's okay.
You get the green
right?
light.
But that's to my point. At a certain point in life, we start to feel like we want to do that to Eb, right? I need to get an Eb ear, she this, she that, whatever it might be, right? That's natural, right? But to your point, if Eb not feeling you, this is where it gets a little dangerous. Because to your other point, right? There's somebody else that might be feeling James.
It's not a lot of very attractive men being taken under the bus for this Me Too shit. It's
a lot. It's people.
Let's get into it.
It's not.
It's
like
people in power,
Harvey Weinstein, nobody wants to admit they went in the room with him and just sucked ball off. Like nobody's gonna admit that.
For their game.
Yeah.
Right? So
nobody's gonna admit it.
Hold on to that thought, because I'm gonna take the audience through our topic of questions, because I know this whole Me Too stuff is gonna get a lot real touchy.
Okay. All right.
All right. Anyway, do you feel like Me Too has given women the right to come forward about sexual harassment, even if it isn't true? Has the Me Too movement affected men? How has the Me Too movement affected men over the past few years? If a woman comes out about sexual harassment, should we automatically believe that it happened, or should we automatically assume that the man committed the crime? And then the final one under this topic. Sexual harassment happens to men as well. Why do we think we are less likely to hear about it happening to a man? So I'm going to open those floodgates. We just going to talk about that a little bit.
So I need to start.
Go ahead, start it off, Eb.
This is about to be an unpopular opinion, okay? Because as a female, I'm supposed to be sitting up here and representing the females, but I definitely think that we should not have a society where we rush to judgment when it comes to allegations of rape, all of these things, but even molestation, because people have been coerced. So I think there is these lines that we need to stay on. We need to be more careful, is what I'm saying, because the allegation alone has ruined lives.
Right.
Reputations,
like the reputations,
jobs, money,
people
business.
have lost their jobs. People on the sex offenders list right now who've never done anything wrong.
Right.
So I think that we need to be very careful, and we need to stop rushing to judgment, and we need to give due process. Like there has to be more than just a he said, she said situation.
And
it has to be different.
With what you're saying with rushing to judgment, I think that's an individual and personal thing to think about. We're not the judge and the jury.
No,
we're not
at
God.
all.
We're not none of that. And we're not exonerating folks who do these crimes.
Right.
They absolutely belong under the jail when they do these crimes. What we're simply saying is that a part of the attack, right, heterosexuality under attack, is that as soon as the allegation is made, you that's watching, think about, don't you associate that person with that type of crime or that type of behavior automatically and probably forever.
Absolutely.
Even when they're exonerated, sometimes people still like, oh, I don't know, he probably, right? I caught myself, I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. I caught myself questioning whether the Central Park 5 really had anything to do with that night. I caught myself questioning that, right? And it was fleeting, right? But I watched the documentary and I said, damn, what if one of them really did have something to do with it? Because we don't know for sure. We know what we're being told and all of that. And I definitely believe they're innocent.
Yeah.
I want to make that clear. But I'm just going to say how your mind plays.
When you're given that information, it seems so definite. Like when people give you that information about somebody molesting somebody raping someone, somebody any type of sexual harassment, anytime that allegation is made, it feels final. It feels like that is the final word
but some
on
people
it.
can't come back from that. Look at
Yeah,
Emmett,
people
look at Emmett
don't.
Till. He didn't even do nothing sexual. He wasn't even accused of doing anything sexual. He was accused of whistling at a woman.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That he didn't even, that never happened. But it's been 20, 30 years after his, about 30, 40 years, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, maybe about, no,
Yeah,
about
it's
40,
50,
50 years.
50,
Sorry
yeah.
about that, y'all. 40, 50 years that when she came out saying that it was a lie,
Right.
he's done already been dead. He done already been
Yep, on her
mutilated,
Tortured.
Yep.
tortured over a damn whistle. It wasn't even a sexual thing. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
And, he can't never come back from that. But he was.
There's a lot of people that can't come back from it, but I don't think that their point of view or their side of the story is ever heard, which is why we're discussing this today, because I think the other side is more represented than this side of
Right.
the
Yeah,
argument.
absolutely. I think with the Me Too movement, I don't want to be insensitive to the victims, right? Victims.
Right.
There are people that are being
serious
Absolutely.
victims.
seriously
Absolutely.
victims of being sexually
deserve
harassed
justice.
or certain things that deserve justice for it. But my thing is, right, give or take, I'm not gonna justify being a man, but being a man, I've come across walks of life when I met women and I flirted and I might have done something that made it teetered our line that may have been between professional and personal type of thing. But like once you get that stain on you, you can't get it off. Russell Simmons had one where Oprah was about to drag him through the mud of a bunch of women that come through, and it's like, are these cases, these Me Too cases coming out? Are they, you know what I mean? What is the motive of
Right.
it, right?
What's-
What's driven behind it, right? Is it justice?
Right.
Is it money?
Is it
once
money?
you-
Is it
and
fame?
That's the thing.
Right.
Once you put money behind it, right? Because here's the thing. People gotta really be honest with themselves about whether they were sexually harassed or not. And here's what I mean. If you're in a situation, whether it's a man of power, man of money, man of fame, an opportunity or whatever it may be, and you consciously choose to flirt back or to become a part of a sexual situation or whatever it may be, you consciously choose that with your own personal gain in mind,
With
right?
your own agenda.
That's
Coochie is
called
currency.
consent.
And coochie is currency.
That is called consent,
Absolutely.
right? Now, if that happens 10, 20 years ago and you see a bunch of people getting a check and you like, me and so-and-so did mess around back then and I'm not doing so well right now, I'm going to come out and say he did
This was
something I
foul
didn't
play.
agree with.
That's why I said what I said. Somebody could easily say that I did something foul play a long time ago. And I'm like, I don't even remember you or your name. And it might have just been like me in passing or saying something
Yeah.
funny
Right.
or just in a moment, or there might have been alcohol in play.
Right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Right.
So it's their word against my word. And it's just like, that's why nowadays I'm never alone with anybody, especially anybody underage or any female. I just would say, hey, listen, I'd rather not be alone with you. Can we go out in an open spot? Or if someone says, hey, I want to come hang out with you, it's like, I'm not.
Right.
If you want to bring somebody with you, you're more than welcome to do that. It's because I'm in a position now financially where I could be attacked.
Right.
I
Right.
could be attacked for my image or whatever situation. So it's like now I'm not paranoid that
Right.
at
Right.
any given
Absolutely.
time.
That
And
hair
that
could drop on
paranoia
you.
That
is
paranoia
an
is an
attack.
do it. Like
That-
my,
It's an
we
attack.
shouldn't
one of my
feel
good,
that way.
one of my good friends, right? He out in LA. I tell him all the time. I'm like, bro, you got to be careful when you texting women. Like, we getting into the group, we talk. You can't even. Like the better terms, us being men, I'm not trying to make it savage, but you like, yo, you know what I mean? Back in the day, you might, send me a picture or whatever the case may. You feel rhythm and you might got it, but now all of a sudden that can be spun because of your prestige, your celebrity, your
Right.
fame. And why are you asking me for boom? You know what I mean? Got
Right.
him. Something that would, if I was a regular person in the street that worked a regular 9 to 5, that might
Exactly.
ask
It would
that,
never see the
don't
light of day.
block, don't
Exactly.
call me again, don't text me
Yeah.
again. But damn, oh really? I can financially gain off of this,
Right.
By telling whatever, you know what I mean?
But
The sabotage.
in the Me Too movement situation, imagine the people that are doing this are the people that have power now. And they have power over radio, power over TV, power over the next shows you have. Power over their friends are also more, their friends than your friends. So all they need to say is, oh, we're not going to work with so-and-so. They're just problematic. You know what I'm saying? Now, it makes it more fearful for you to even speak up on something wrongdoings that's happened to you now, because you'll get blackballed or you'll get a bad connotation that you're problematic.
Well, I think I understand where you're going, but I think that in essence is what started the Me Too movement.
That is.
Right,
That's
yeah,
the,
that's
that is
the-
the,
that's
that is
the
the,
start.
yeah,
That's
that's
what-
the
that's
foundation.
why it came out.
Even still, though,
That's the
that's the
foundation.
forefront of it. You know what I'm saying? But the back door of it is those people are still friends with those other people that's in power. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's a part of what, and I don't want to lose, I wanted to talk about that paranoia you brought up, but that's a part of what was on Dave Chappelle's last comedy special. What was it, Sticks and Stones? I think it was called Sticks and Stones. And we recently saw him live, and it was crazy because the 3 comedians before him all had Me Too jokes, like attacking the Me Too movement jokes. And it was funny because I even kind of looked around, right? Like it was funny to me. I'm the type of person, funny is funny.
Yeah, me too.
I don't believe in anything being. That was good.
Comedy is a safe space.
Comedy is a safe space. If it's funny, it's funny. I'm not laughing because I think it demeans someone else or anything else like that. The fact of the matter is life is funny, and a good comedian knows how to put those things together and make you laugh. But I'm looking around, and there was a white woman next to me, and none of this shit was funny to her. Like none of this Me Too shit. Right. None of this Me Too shit was funny to her. And
I'm like, bitch, laugh.
And it happened. It happened for 3 comedians straight.
Yeah, that was all
it
they
was
jokes.
like it was crazy.
So Donnell got up there.
You know what I'm saying? It was like oh, and more Me Too jokes. Okay, and this lady was like visibly like.
But God,
it wasn't funny.
That could go with anything. This one comedian was talking about women's feet one time. My mom got some busted feet, right? So we all in the house laughing, all my sisters and brothers, and my mom's sitting there with a straight face like, it's not funny because some women feet. I'm getting all serious.
But see, that's people too uptight. It's
right,
like,
so who's to say that one young lady
she
probably went through
was
some
a
real
victim.
crazy
Like, she
Me Too
went
victim
through
stuff with her
something.
boss, and she probably like don't think that that's hilarious.
I can
That's
dig.
that's all it
I
is.
think if you going to even go to a comedy show,
You
though,
never know
it's
what
like,
the comedian's gonna talk
yeah,
about.
it's
though.
like-
Come on,
And they're
man. I
always
just know
gonna-
this. I'm not sitting in the
They're
front
always
row
going to talk
of no
about trending
comedy show.
topics.
Yeah.
They're always going to talk about
so
trending
and it's like
topics,
I don't mean for to say don't go if you have trauma, but I do mean to say
We all got trauma, Kyle.
we all got trauma, but seek
Everything.
that type of therapy that you need to get to a certain point.
Look at him talking about
not be
seeking
so
therapy.
so uptight.
So now with the Me Too, right? My only confusion is going forward when you interacting, like what consent do I have to
As a
have
man.
as a man
Right.
to be able to cross that line to be able to shoot my shot? Because that's ultimately
Right.
where it's starting.
Bro, I
at.
feel sorry for
'Cause
single
because I'm
people.
trying to shoot my shot.
I'm married. I don't know how single people even interact. I wouldn't know what the hell to say to anybody. If I see a female, she's pretty, do I go, listen, don't
Well,
want to
it's-
start any Me Too shit or nothing like that?
Yeah,
Just
I'm
think
good.
you're
It's
pretty.
nowhere though, Taki.
like, how
do you-
That's part of that's
Because let me volunteer this, because this shit is crazy. Most relationships start in the workplace, right? But guess what else happens in the workplace? Sexual harassment.
all day.
Right?
So where do
we
you
live
know?
in
Where's
this
the fine
world.
line?
This world it spins you in a circle. It's like when you at work, you're dating, right? If I work with a woman, I don't have to really take her out to figure out who she is. I just got to work at the job for a couple of weeks. And now I know, you know what? This person's the type of person I would want to go out with. Now, to your point, how do I shoot my shot? And how do I know that
Safely
that shot
shoot your
won't
shot.
be taken as harassment?
As someone who's been sexually harassed at the workplace,
Not here.
heck, okay,
About to
now,
get somebody.
this is years ago, okay, in another life. It became harassment when I couldn't do anything without seeing this person. Like, I have to go to work every day. This person is here. They're also calling me after work. Like, this is continuing, and it feels like stalking. It feels like I can't escape
Well, I
it.
don't know necessarily that felt like stalking. I think that was stalking.
Okay, I mean, but it might have been. It might have cost a lot. But what I'm
that
saying
was.
is, at the workplace, it felt like there was no escape. I had to constantly be reminded that I have these unwanted advances.
So as a woman, keep it a bean, right? A gentleman who you like throw up in your mouth at the thought of you ever dealing with, right?
Right.
Comes on to you aggressively, right? The same type of aggression he uses, it's another gentleman at the workplace that's like, right?
I hope he didn't make that
What
face.
is that? What is the I don't understand it.
Is he can get it.
Oh, okay.
Don't let Jamal look at me again like that, because it could go down
In the coat
in the coat room at work, right?
Okay.
Same scenario, right? And I know you're not the type of woman to just jump out the window and be like, he harassed me. But keep it a bean. Are you more likely to be open to the cute or attractive guy's advances?
Absolutely. 100%.
But on the flip side, is harassment the first thing you think about if the guy is a little too pushy?
It's not the first thing I think about because I'm just different. But it's definitely after. It has to be ongoing.
I feel like
I can reject the first advance, second advance, even maybe third. But by the time we get to the point where you're not letting up, we got a problem.
So, but before you go to HR, should you say, hey, listen, Kyrie, I mean, not Kyrie, I'll use another name.
Ahead,
listen, Jamal, we use
say
Jamal.
Sorry again, because I'm not a harasser.
Sorry, Kyrie.
Right.
Too many hurt your feelings,
Right.
little bitch. So you say, Jamal, listen, I appreciate your interest and everything, but I'm just really not interested at all, and I just don't want to make this weird or complicated. So, you know.
So I actually
would you say that to him before you go to HR?
Yeah, so what I did was I actually went to a mutual friend of ours that was at the job, and I told him that the advances were unwanted and to see if he could get his bull to stop. And he was unsuccessful. So
Let me question the advances. Were they sexual in nature, or were they just like, I just really want to take you out?
yeah, it was I want to take you out.
What did you say? Did you say,
I'm
nah,
not
fam?
I'm good. I'm not interested.
Hang me for this if you must, viewing audience. But sexual harassment, that term, to me, is like sexual in nature, constant badgering. I don't personally see it as, I really like to take you out Monday.
Yeah, but Kyle, you said you could say
like
that. But see how Kyle says
Friday,
it.
But
I
you
really
gotta
like to
Kyle
take
says
you
it.
out.
You
A
have to
female might be
understand
like,
intent.
oh,
You
all
have to
right, you know, he
understand
said it
intent.
real nice. But Kyle just said,
take
look,
me out of the
Kyle,
equation.
listen, no, I'm just talking about how you
Take
said it
me
right
and my
there.
tight shirt out of the
The
equation.
dude probably ain't saying like that. He probably was like, yo, Eb, let me eat your ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, he probably said
it wasn't sexual
But I'm
in
just saying, he
nature.
probably.
Here's the thing.
I'm just saying.
It wasn't.
No, but look, Kyle just said it like this. Yo, I'd really like to take you out. And then he licked his lips,
but
and then did like two titty pumps and shit. And the bitch was like, she was like, I mean.
But that's sexual though.
No,
I'm saying,
Kyle, I'm
take
just saying.
sexual out of it.
Listen,
All right, so listen.
depending on how the boy said it, if he was nerdy or corny or just had
was
sweaty
nerdy.
palms.
No, that's not
He was
not
both- he
fair.
was
It is
both
fair. Nobody will
He
sweaty
was-
palm
he was
dude be
right.
like,
He was
hey,
right.
Eb, I'd like to take you out. Let me wear your hat today. I love you. You know what I'm saying? You like, nigga, chill.
So because my palms is sweaty, it's automatically sexual
Yes,
harassment.
yes.
And the
What
dry
are you
palm
doing?
dude ain't.
You can't talk to me. Why are your palms so sweaty? That shit's weird, dog. Chicks don't like weird dudes, yo. Why is your palms
what it
You're
was.
sweaty?
not allowed to
He's
call
not-
people weird.
Listen, he's
Wow.
not.
You're a weirdest.
He's
That
not-
nigga's
You're
weird.
a weirdo.
He had a good assessment of who the person was, though. I wasn't interested, and it boiled down to intention. Even though I knew how he was approaching me it wasn't directly sexual. It was still the intent behind it. He wanted to date me because he was hoping it went there.
Oh, but Ed,
But
check this
every
out.
dude-
Here's the crazy part that I look for
But
a girl like
that's
Ed.
being
Listen,
sexual
a
harassment.
girl like
then.
Ed might say this.
If
Oh my
you
God,
don't
he
like
just
him,
came.
that's not
Listen,
fair.
girl might say this. Oh my God, he just
If
too
you keep
soft.
doing it-
Like I like my men to be like strong with this
Toxic
shit.
and masculine.
Yeah. So it was some women. Listen, some women like this. Check this out. Some women like this. Listen, I ain't gonna take no for an answer. I'm gonna pick you up around 8. All right. What's your address? You know what I'm saying? Some women like confident men.
That might
You
work.
see how they able to get
Right. Look, behind the scenes like, give me him. Give me him.
This motherfucker getting a pussy tonight.
But
You
yo,
know what I'm saying? So some women like guys is like, yo,
No.
listen, look, I know it's a real nice Chinese spot, man. You're gonna love their food. I love to pick people around like, say 8:30 because I want to make sure we got enough time to
Now,
have some
But
fun
Pete,
afterwards.
but Pete,
Right.
you gonna get me too'd off of that.
But that's what I'm saying.
In the right
With the
situation.
right
No, but
situation,
if you
It's
the guy
over.
that
And
she
that's what you
wants,
can't do
if you the
it.
guy she wants, she gonna be like, yes, Terrell, come
he-
get me.
But that's not
that's what I'm
fair.
saying. That nigga thought he was doing that.
Listen.
He's like, hey, Ebony,
Listen.
listen, I'm gonna pick you up at 8. My hands are sweaty, but we're gonna have a time of our life. Ebony's like, yo, fuck you. That's sexual harassment. Don't pick me up at 8. I'm not gonna tell you again.
No.
He don't know.
Listen.
He saw himself
Listen.
doing the cool shit.
Yeah, he did. He
Not
did.
fair. That is
He
not
doesn't
fair.
know that he's
He
cool
treats
as
like
shit.
large people in like too small clothes.
No.
He's like, I'm wearing
No, it's
Ebony
not.
down. He's
No,
like,
it's-
Takai, what the fuck is he talking about? Listen, he's like, man, I'm wearing her down, man. Watch, the next time I ask her, she's gonna be like, all right, damn it.
No,
Let's
the next
go.
time you ask her, you walking out in trouble.
Listen, to put it in
know.
perspective,
We don't know.
we watched Steve Urkel harass Laura
shit out of Laura.
for
For
like
72 years, yo.
and he
72
wore it down and it, like, Laura, can
He
I
did.
take you out?
But he didn't be
As soon as that nigga got in that
He
machine,
did it.
as soon as he got in the
Bro.
machine,
He
came
had
out
to
and
be
stepped
tough.
out,
That's
this nigga
not
walked different and everything, yo.
And she was with
she
it.
was like this. Urkel, he just twisted his name around.
Took his glasses off.
He did Stefan Urkel and took his glasses off, and she was on his dick. This shit crazy to me, yo.
Yo, but listen, the
He
climate
knew he had
we live
potential
in.
at that point.
Bro, the climate, here's the thing. The climate we live in has changed so much. Like,
Oh my God.
television especially, it's funny, me and Kristen, I was at Kristen's house with Knox. She had Amazing Race on from like
That's my
11
favorite
seasons
show.
ago,
My
right?
favorite show in the whole
I
world.
swear to God, the boy hit his wife
He didn't
on
hit
the
her.
show. The boy
I know
popped
he-
his wife.
He didn't hit her.
The boy raised his hand, popped
He
his
raised
wife,
his
dog.
hand. He didn't hit her.
Even still, that shit will not fly on any. They were, oh my God,
Oh,
that was almost this close to domestic violence. We're not doing that. But this joint aired, and they was calling the black team the sister girls or something like that. Like, and that joint just flew. Like it was like, right?
Oh, listen. TV is wild as shit, yo. Listen, do you remember Power Rangers?
Yeah.
Of course.
Y'all remember the first season of Power Rangers?
I can't say I remember the
Never
first
with
season,
nobody.
but
I did. I used to love Power
Remind
Rangers. So
us.
listen, in Power Rangers, remember how everybody had colors and shit like that?
They
The
had
Black Ranger was black.
Right.
Listen, this gets better. The Chinese Ranger was yellow. The Indian nigga Ranger was red. Then the last two was a nerdy guy, he was blue, and then a prissy girl, she was pink. I'm like, if this ain't the most sexist, racist shit ever.
But I'll
Until
I'll
listen,
combat that.
a couple seasons
Color
later, they
association
start
is
saying,
real,
hey, mix
bro.
up them colors with them people and shit. You know what I'm saying?
But that's the thing, they did that because of the climate changing. But color association is real. There's just some things that we associate with certain colors. I'm of the mindset of that's okay, right? It's not okay to call a Indian person a redskin, right? But we still got the Washington Redskins.
Yeah, that
it's
shit
like
crazy.
it's like where do we live? It's crazy to me. It's like I keep
As I
saying.
said, we would have to rewrite
We're
history.
we're
our
walking
world,
contradiction
you know what I'm saying?
every
we
day.
are. We are
We're
a walking
contradiction
contradiction
every day.
in
Yeah,
life.
It's all it is.
In life.
Because all that
I
stuff
mean,
is
every-
subjective, man.
it's a lot.
And
Listen.
you're and it being subjective, it makes you guilty. And if you fall on the outside of the line, you guilty. And whatever that is you choose to call it,
It's like
whether
duck,
it's
duck,
Me
goose.
Too,
If you get hit with the ball, you got caught. If
Yeah,
you don't
that's
get hit
it.
with it, then you flying through the, you know what I'm saying? You still in the
Flying
game.
under
So
the
we got to
radar.
get into something else touchy. We got to talk about the LGBTQ community and their right to express their sexuality
Okay.
versus heterosexuals' right to express their sexuality. And what is homophobia? What exactly is it?
Here's the thing I don't like. Every time I turn on Netflix, it's some niggas kissing and fucking, and I'm like, damn, there's more niggas fucking on Netflix than it is when I go down 12th Street and shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's like my kids watch this shit, and it's like, yo, stop putting this shit on every channel, man. Okay, we get it. Y'all two niggas like kissing and fucking each other. Cool. My son is 8. He don't need to be trying to figure that if this is what he want to do.
That's my
So-
problem.
so the
That's my
question is
problem with
that-
it.
It's
is that
shoving
toxic?
it down our
Is that
throats,
toxic?
bro.
So that's my problem with it. I think that those conversations sometimes should be, well, not sometimes. I think that conversation about sexuality is the right of the parent and should not be put on television until you know, like, the parents have to have that conversation
Right.
first. So putting it on television robs them of that right because now I'm forced to explain why I told you that God made woman and
Right.
man, and they said y'all had babies together, and now you see two men. Like, what do they do together?
Right.
Like, I have to have that conversation with my child, and that's not fair. I think that should be reserved for a parent, and the fact that they're putting that out there and they're making it so acceptable over and over again is not fair. Not to mention that we all feel under attack a little bit when it comes to the LGBTQ community, only because we don't know what is the right thing to say, do, the right term, the right pronouns. We don't know any of that.
Your point is the point I want to get into, which is a fact, is that ignorance is not phobia. That ignorance is not, I'm a homophobic because I don't understand.
They have ignorance within their own community. Some of them do not know how to describe other members of the community.
The transgenders don't really fuck with the what's the Q stand for? Queers?
Yeah.
It's a lot of extra. It's a lot of
questioning.
It's
or
like
questioning.
Questioning or queer.
Okay.
Meaning you don't really know what you are. To Ebony's point.
More so men wearing short clothes.
I think
not necessarily.
I don't think that's it. You about to get attacked.
My bad.
But no, to the point that here's the point of the community thing, right? I respect the community. I respect the community, even if there wasn't a community, because I respect people having their right to be what the hell they want to be.
I respect human beings.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Human beings.
And you're not.
I really don't give a shit if there's LGBTQ.
Who you love is your business.
What letter you want to be. You know, I know my letter is I'm black, I'm a man, I have a family, I'm a human being, and I'm here to love people and not hate people. That's all I know, man.
But let me finish my point. The other side of it, right, is I might not be educated on what you want to be called, right? And to the point you made earlier, I may have came up and learned certain things, right? And I think the LGBTQ community really needs to begin to look at themselves and understand that there's also now, just like we talked about black and white, there's also now a responsibility for you to educate the other side of the community so that ignorance doesn't exist, right? And so that ignorance is not automatically perceived as a phobia.
Amen.
If I run a company, if you have the skills that I need you to have to do anything in this company, I don't care if you purple and you like whoever you like, come on down and do that thing that you love to do, because you know why? The passion in that thing is what connects us, right? I love to run a camera and write and edit and all of that. I don't care what you look like or who you love if you want to come in and do that thing, right?
Absolutely.
But that does not just erase your differences, right? So those differences create ignorance, no different than white and black. And to Taki's point, if you came up a certain way and this is what you learned, you can't just, if I'm black and I came up a certain way, you can't just put me in white culture and expect me to understand everything that's going on, and vice versa. The same is true for the LGBTQ community. You cannot expect straight people to just understand and to not have questions, to not have jokes, to not have these things, and we're automatically perceived as that's a phobia. First of all, phobia means fear, so it's not even the right word. But I'm not scared of gay people, and I would never discriminate against someone for any reason, but I still have ignorances. I still have questions.
You have questions.
Right?
You have ignorance and questions.
And I still find some things funny, right? And that doesn't mean that I don't like them as a community. It just means some of that shit is funny. Some things, when I came in here today, everybody talked about my tight shirt, right?
Because it's funny.
I love a good tight shirt. What did I do?
It's ridiculous.
I added to the jokes. I talked about my own self too, because I'm not that insecure of a
called
person.
it kinky. It's
right?
a kinky
It's the material, if y'all was here to feel
They can see it.
the
They can see it.
material
Y'all
that this
see it.
shirt is, and then you see how
This shit,
see how swole I am up under it, you know what I mean? But we getting off topic. It's not about me and my masculine looking, homosexual looking
It's a
self.
horrible shirt.
This is an amazing shirt.
It
What are you
is
talking about?
not a good shirt.
I got it in
but
gray, too.
That's not all right. We're not talking about.
I got
the
it
shirt.
in
All
gray.
right, listen. We want to support you. We want the same support that, as a minority, we understand. We understand what y'all are going through. We want to support the LGBTQ community. But we absolutely need your help to do so.
Right.
Because we do not want to have all of these open questions. So, I mean, honestly, and this is not going to be popular. I mean, I said some unpopular things tonight. But maybe y'all should go back, have a meeting together, and kind of figure out exactly what y'all want to. Sorry, I mean no.
Figure this out before
No,
we
figure it
go
out
put
and then
this
come
on
back to
TV.
us because
She
I
gonna
feel
say
like
y'all like it ain't millions.
no, I mean no.
We need a huddle. Huddle
there
up.
needs
Six
to-
guys.
Listen,
What?
there needs to be a conversation amongst y'all that where y'all come to a consensus about.
But Eb, who could be the
these-
representative to say I stands for all the
tripping.
Q's,
No.
I stand for all the L's?
tripping.
Like we can't
I'm
we have
not
Ellen
tripping.
DeGeneres.
We came
I'ma
up with
tell you-
words
I'ma
we
tell
don't
you
want
where
to
you-
we don't want to hear.
I'm gonna tell you where it needs to be. What needs to happen? People in the LGBTQ community need to affect the people they can, meaning their straight friends, in a way that promotes some sort of understanding.
I agree.
And that gets rid of the attack. I think as soon as straight people don't agree with anything the community does or says or wants to portray, it's automatically an attack back on the straight folks. And oh, you homophobic. And it's like, no, love you, Uncle Gina.
Uncle Gina.
I don't know what's what. You know what I'm saying? I just want to better understand.
That's what
You know
I mean. That's what I mean. And I'm speaking, I'm obviously not saying y'all have one big meeting. Like I'm saying y'all need to go back to the drawing board. Like there needs to be conversation amongst themselves to come up with something that we can all wrap our minds around. Every time I look it up, there's a new letter. There's something else added. There's something else that we need to learn. Like right now, I just looked at every signature in the city of Philadelphia when they're typing an email. Under everybody's signature, they have their pronouns now. That's something new. That's this year for people saying their pronouns. I never heard of that
is it?
before.
It's like whether you gotta
what
call
you want to
somebody
be
him,
called. Like, do
her.
you want to be called him, they, like anything?
Yeah, they
that
do it
you,
now in school now. My
Yeah.
son,
You have
can't
to
you
announce
can't call
your
him Mr. or
pronouns.
Mrs. no more. You're like Mrs. Smith, it got to be Teacher Smith or
Yeah.
Teacher
Yeah, that's
You have-
ridiculous.
Teacher Johnson.
Yeah, but like those
Yeah,
things are
yeah,
like that's happening,
they
and we
eradicated
don't
that.
we're being affected by it, but we don't necessarily understand it, and it's going to
some
take
people
y'all
are not-
educating
some
us
people are not
on
be
why
cool
this
with-
is it's super important to you, so that we don't keep continuously.
But some people are
offending.
not going to be cool with that kind of change. You know what I'm saying? Like for older white men that was raised in the 50s, so like probably they was about 20 or 30 years old in the 50s. Nowadays, in this age, you know what I'm saying? They're probably like seeing that, you know, they can't say and do certain things. They're like, yo, this is too different for me. I liked it the way that it was. This new change doesn't work for me. And as a human being, you should be able to say this new change doesn't work for me.
2 points to that. One, there'll be a show that we'll be talking about when this whole sensitivity and all of this bubble will burst. But the real point I want to make off of what you're saying is it doesn't seem to matter. And I'll tell you why it doesn't seem to matter. We live in a country now that in a lot of places, these new gender neutral bathrooms or whatever have been made law. Like your establishment has to have this thing, right? It's another one of those walking contradiction things, right? Because think about it. When anyone goes to the bathroom, they're supposed to just be going to the bathroom, right?
Right.
And for my money, there's a lot of establishments that have already fixed this I'm a man or a woman problem by one bathroom, individual lock stall, right? I don't know if Parks Casino's a good example of that. You go in the bathroom,
pod, too.
it's one stall, it locks, it's just you in there, right? And then everyone can wash their hands together. Can we not? Can we not agree that we can wash our hands together?
But women don't only wash their hands. And I'm not saying that to come at any women, but when y'all get in front of that mirror has now transformed into a full photo
But it
shoot.
does, that part doesn't matter because what I'm saying is there's a woman's room and there's a men's room in every establishment, right? We don't need to put.
Yeah, but now when you say
but listen,
those
let me finish.
stalls,
those stalls
Right.
are for you to do your bathroom business, right? Now when you come out of that bathroom, you're in the bathroom that you chose to be in.
right? For men, we go to that sink and wash our hands. for women, that is not the case. Those women will go
So
through
you
that.
can't be in the bathroom with us, is what you're
It's
saying.
not saying I don't give a shit. I'm
not
talking
saying
about
put
y'all
them in the
women.
same
You about to
Y'all
be
go in
Me
front of
Too'd
that
in the
mirror.
bathroom,
My
bro.
wife has come back with pictures with bitches that she don't even know. To myself, I met this bitch in the bathroom with the fucking in the mirror. I don't know this bitch, but hey.
But here's my point. Right?
I don't do that shit.
But a gay man, but a gay man would.
Brad income.
But a gay
when I'm
man
washing my
would.
hands, fuck them. I'm washing my hands.
But this is my point.
Ain't gonna be no picture of me and Kyle.
It's not. But this is what I'm saying. The bathroom is still men's room, women's room.
Right.
But I'm gay, right? I identify as a woman, right?
Okay.
So I'm going to the woman's room.
As a
and
gay
when
man?
as a gay man.
Right.
And when I come out, I'm taking them same pictures with the girl.
Right, but another
Because
woman,
that's what I wanna
but
do.
another female who sees you as a man that might have a penis might feel uncomfortable with you in that same room than if you went to the women's bathroom.
But that's my point. By creating these other bathrooms, we're forcing the gender neutral people into this segregated bathroom. That is not the definition of choose who you are. Right. You can only be a man or a woman. That's all you can be. Right? And your motives are just like you said. When I go in the bathroom, I'm taking a piss, I'm washing my hands, I'm getting out of there. That's my motive as a man. As a gay man, I might want to ha-ha and kiki with the rest of the women. Right? I might not want to just go to the bathroom with the transgenders or whatever and have this label on my bathroom. I might not want that. But the business that you do in the bathroom can be stalled off.
Right.
I don't understand why we're spending money to create a third bathroom.
But here's the thing I want to say. I want to say about that. Some stalls, they don't have the feet part covered. Some women, when they go in the bathroom, may not want to hear a man hear them go. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things that happens in the male bathroom and the female bathroom that's why they're segregated like that. Then they do have these other bathrooms that's the family bathroom. The family bathroom is a bathroom that's totally locked off, bigger stalls, but it's isolated for a group of people, quote unquote family.
But all you need is a line of stalls with a family stall, just like you got a handicap stall. It's the same thing.
That might work for you, Kyle, but some people still want to have their privacy when they go to that mirror to do whatever I think girls do in the mirror when they adjust their breasts, put lipstick on. They don't want a man stare at them like this.
No, but they're not with a man. That's what I'm saying to you. Like what you're saying is they don't want a man staring at them, right? But what the community says is, I may be in the image of a man, but I am a woman, right? But now what we're saying as judge and legislator is, well, put a little half skirt and a half man on another bathroom.
That's what they're trying to do?
And there's places that already have it. We're saying put that on another bathroom, and y'all have to use that bathroom.
Right.
Call me
the
crazy.
legislature's saying that this is a must.
This is the third stall.
Like there's legislator passed to create this thing.
I think it's a waste of money.
That's what the hell I've been trying to say since the start of my argument.
I thought you was talking about those bathrooms that have just the stalls, and then we all come out and we share the mirror.
No.
Now, I've been to places like
I've
that.
been there.
Recesses like
I've
that.
been to those too.
Recesses
I'm
like
simply
that.
saying,
Green
male,
stall is like
female. What do you identify as? Go take a shit. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
So we got a little bit more to talk. What's my time? What can I do?
You done?
We all the way done? We can't talk about men wearing bags and skirts? All right, real quick. So we've all seen the photos. We've seen TV shows, music videos now with rappers and all of that. They wearing bags. They wearing man purses. Is this okay? Is this
I'm not with
something either anybody supports?
It started with
I too
skinny
am not.
jeans.
I'm too
It
am not
started
with
with skinny jeans.
I too am not with it.
This is what I think, man. I think that anybody to do the opposite of what their quote unquote image looks like, it's gonna get some attention. So if a white rapper comes on stage and he's rapping really, really good, he's knocking bars out and he's just dope, he's gonna be like, wow, that's fucking different. This guy's killing it. Put him on mainstream. Let's get some more, attention to that, because that's what it's all about now. What can get attention as far as likes, views, and streams? So if it's going to get millions and millions of attention, likes, views, and streams, and it's different, it's enough for us to make money off of. So Young Thug representing a black male rapper, you know what I'm saying, is wearing a skirt. It's like, whoa, this is so avant-garde, so different, so different. Let's let's highlight that, because a lot of people says, what, a gay rapper? Let's see what that looks like. So then that's gonna get the like button and the view button, which
But there's nothing wrong
equates
with
to
a
more
gay
money.
rapper. There's nothing wrong with a gay
rapper.
rapper
We got multiple
wearing
gay-
skirts
yeah, we
and
got
bags
multiple
and
gay
all
I'm
that.
not wearing a bag.
We
I'm
talking
like
about a
this-
straight man.
I don't see. This
Wearing
is
a
me. I'm
pocketbook.
an old school man. Maybe my toxic masculinity.
hello, fellow toxic masculinity
How you
man.
doing? How you doing?
TM.
TM.
Okay.
TM. Yeah, we need a T-shirt. TM.
go TM.
All right.
So anyway, go.
They not getting T-shirts.
I don't know what I'm going to carry in a bag. That's why I don't need it unless I have a gym bag. Like what else goes into this man bag?
It's
Keys,
innate
wallet,
to you
phone.
just to
Keys,
keep your-
wallet, phone.
Yes,
That's what
it.
pockets
That's
is
all you
for.
need.
I don't need a bag to have my cologne in it. I don't need any wipes. I don't
My
need
cologne
too
stays
much
in the
of
car.
it.
I hitch
That's it.
myself before I go
But
out.
you
and
said
that's
you
it.
carry a bag, so what's in your bag?
Who said I carry a bag?
You said that you had a little satchel or something.
No, first of all, don't put words in my mouth. I ain't got no damn satchel. I say they call these bags satchels. I don't have a damn satchel.
You don't have one.
I'm not from France. I don't have a damn
All
satchel.
right. I thought you said you had one.
I just don't think. I don't see the need of why a man should carry a bag.
But when you express it that way, you're also saying that if there is the need, a straight
It
man
should be
should
okay.
carry a bag.
If there was a need, which I don't see the need, I'm for filling a void,
Brad,
right?
do you keep your beard comb? Would you keep
I
it?
don't. I would keep that in my car.
Would you keep beard cream?
Beard
Not in
cream.
I wouldn't.
A Scully if it gets cold outside.
No, I stuff it in my jacket.
Just trying to think
I'm
of
try-
ways my
I'm
man
trying-
can
I'm
trying to justify
I don't
the
see
bag
why I'm
thing.
benefiting
Put
it.
his bag. I
Put
thought
his
you would have.
script. He can put his script in
Yeah,
the
but
bag.
once it's just like you. If you hit your
That's
cologne,
how I am. Once I hit
once
the
I hit my
cologne,
cologne, it's
sometimes
in
once I
there.
hit it in the house, it's a wrap for the
It's
day.
over.
For the
It's
day,
over.
for the whole day.
for
We
the
don't
whole
need
day,
that.
and then my pick,
Alright.
whatever
God,
it is. and then-
the lip gloss you put on, do you keep that in your pocket?
Actually,
Or do you keep it in this pocket? Or would it
Can't
would it
let it
poke
fit in
out?
that pocket
Would
right
it-
there.
Would it poke out too much?
I don't do gloss. I don't do gloss. But
Or is it?
little tube of bliss stacks. You know what I'm saying? Right here. You know what I'm saying? It's right here. It's the fresh cherry Carmex. You know what I'm saying? It's petite. As you can see, I don't need no clutch to
You're
carry
not
it.
gonna call it petite,
You know what
but
I'm
okay.
saying?
Petite and kinky.
I'm allowed to say
So-
pink, petite, Mr. Toxic.
Okay.
I'm allowed to say
So
petite.
you keep your lubricating gel in your pocket.
Yes. Left side. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but it's compact in that pocket.
Right, I don't need a
I
bag.
don't need a satchel for things that, like,
Okay.
you know what I mean?
Or a
Everything I
satchel.
need is probably can fit
Is
in
my
my
lips
wallet.
popping now?
Okay.
Son, do you got your bag? Did you bring your bag?
I don't have a bag.
All
You
right.
can't say that
You
because
can't
that's
say that.
toxic masculinity.
Man, I'm gonna say that
You're
to
not
my
allowed
son.
to tell
Hey,
your son he not allowed
put it
to
in your
carry a
pockets.
bag.
If not, you gotta buy some cargos
might
or
need a
something that's
bag.
gonna
He
equip
might
to
need
put
a
it in there.
A good pair of cargos
A
go a
good
long
pair of
way.
cargos. Do you put
I just
some in
like
the
that
other-
line.
You know you love a cargo.
I love a cargo.
That unisex line, they want to just make
Teeter.
it
Blur it.
wider,
Yeah,
actually,
yeah.
to say that everything is unisex. Bags are unisex, shoes, your UGG boots with the fur and stuff like. I'm not a big fan of men wearing comfortable UGG boots with the fur. Where
Didn't y'all wear rompers one summer?
Y'all.
first of all, don't fucking say y'all as in us three here.
Yeah.
I ain't never seen them two in no damn romper, yo.
I mean,
Nobody's
it was
wearing
a
a
man
romper.
trend one
It
summer,
was a
wasn't
few
it?
I had a
guys.
guest jumper when I was in like 11th grade. It was about as close to a romper as I've ever come.
Okay.
Little
Nobody's
guest
wearing
jumper.
it.
But
Then
everybody's
you had to
wearing,
iron
but all of
you had
y'all
to
are wearing
iron the
skinny
flap
jeans
down.
now. But
You know what I'm
everybody's
saying?
wearing
It
skinny.
ain't about-
Every man is
Yeah,
wearing
because
skinny
you don't
jeans
want to
now.
be the guy with the big jeans
Y'all
on.
told
like it's
me my jeans was
2004.
Well,
too
your
big
jeans
at
are
once.
too big. Your jeans
They
are
made
too
me
big.
get skinnier.
Your jeans do be too big.
We wear
but
slimmer jeans
Yeah.
because that's a part of fashion and comfortable for us. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? If it's
Aren't they comfortable?
I wouldn't
Yeah,
know.
they are. They are. See, fashion changed. We went from
Fashion-
bigger clothes. We shrunk
more
our
fitted clothing.
more
To
fitted clothes.
European fit clothes.
yeah,
like a
Yeah.
good
but
fitted
some
shirt.
guys, if they have big glutamus maximuses,
I was just about to say that. Like, are
can't
you
wear
yeah,
certain things
like,
that they make
Well,
for guys with small gluteus
You know what's
maximus.
crazy? When you say gluteus maximus, it don't make it sound gay. Because if
Thank
you'd
you.
have said he had a big ass,
I wouldn't have said that,
That
though.
would've been kinda
you know why?
crazy.
Because I'm a toxic man. That man has a gluteus maximus. I don't know a man with an ass.
oh man, on that note,
Right,
man, it's been fun. Hopefully it's been informative. Hopefully you guys have some
Yes.
things to talk about. I just want to reiterate once again, nobody up here has a problem with any
At all.
community,
No, not at
any
all.
race, gender, creed, color, sexuality. Do what you do.
or
but-
trauma if you've
or
experienced.
or
Or
trauma.
trauma.
Yes, indeed, definitely. So it's been real, man. I just want to thank everybody that was on the show again. I want to thank everybody that's watching. Please comment, share, like the show. We'll be back with more controversial topics this year, man. Thank you for watching My New Philly, where something's always new
And
everything's
everything's
always
Philly.
Philly.
Yo.
My phone was doing a
That joint was bomb.